Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about preparation properties and uses of hydrogen, preparation and properties of deuterium as well as tritium. So last class we have completed the introduction part of hydrogen. What is the atomic number, abundance of hydrogen, isotopes of hydrogen, ortho as well as para hydrogen. So today we start preparation of hydrogen. First preparation method, electrolysis process, right? So we are going to discuss about electrolysis. First we have to know what is electrolysis. Now consider a battery. So battery is not new to us. We use a different type of batteries in different electrical appliances. So this is basically an electrochemical cell or electrolytic cell. The battery may be used in vehicles, or the battery may be used in mobile phones or watches or torch lights and so on. They are actually electrochemical cells or electrolytic cells. So we are going to prepare hydrogen using electrolysis process. For the electrolysis process, we need the cell, electrolytic or electrochemical cell. So how to construct the cell? We take three components for the construction of a cell. First component cathode, second component anode, third component electrolytic solution. So these are the major components to construct a cell. An electrode which is acting as negatively charged electrode, cathode. An electrode which is acting as positively charged electrode, acting as anode. Then electrolytic solution. So this is the construction of electrolytic cell. Now we are going to take water as a solution. Now the water is not 100% pure. A small quantity of acid or base is present in the water. So take water as an electrolytic solution. Now we are going to pass the electricity from the external source. So in the cell we have a water along with a small quantity of acid or base as an electrolytic solution. When electricity is passed into the cell from the external source, what happens? There will be redox reaction, right? So within the cell, a reaction will take place. So in your 10th standard, you have studied what is oxidation, what is the reduction, what is redox reaction. So this redox reaction will take place within electrolytic cell by the passage of electricity. So this process is called electrolysis. Electrolysis is the process of a separation of a substance into two. For example, sodium chloride is there, it will be separated into Na plus Cl minus, or else the passage of electricity will lead to a redox reaction within the cell. So the process is called electrolysis. So as I said, within the cell there are three components. What are they? Anode, cathode and electrolytic solution, which is acting as electrolytic solution, water. At anode, always there will be oxidation process. So within the cell, oxidation will take place at anode. At cathode, always there will be reduction process. So oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. The process is called redox reaction, right? So you know what is cell, how to construct the cell, and what will be the reaction. Oxidation will be taking place at anode, reduction will be taking place at cathode. The overall reaction, that means oxidation and reduction taking place at the same time, is called redox reaction. And we know the definition of oxidation. Oxidation is the addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen molecule or loss of electron by the species. What about the definition of reduction? Reduction is the addition of hydrogen or loss of oxygen or removal of oxygen, then gain of electron. This is the definition of reduction, you studied already. So during this electrolysis process, we do electrolysis of water in the cell. There will be oxidation at anode, reduction at cathode. This is called redox reaction, right? Okay. So consider a water molecule. How the water molecule will be separated? Usually H plus and OH minus. So during the electrolysis, what will happen? As I said, in case of sodium chloride, that will be separated into cation as well as anion, Na plus and Cl minus. The same way, we have taken water as an electrolytic solution. When electricity is passed, water will also be separated into two components. One is H plus, another one is what? OH minus. Right. So water is separated into H plus and OH minus. This OH minus hydroxide ion undergoes oxidation process. So here oxidation is expressed in terms of loss of electron. So each hydroxide ion loses one electron. So two hydroxide ions loses 2 electron with the liberation of water as well as oxygen. So this is called the oxidation process. Each hydroxide ion loses an electron. 2 hydroxide ion loses 2 electrons. Next, think about the reduction at cathode. So we have taken water as electrolytic solution. Gain of electron is called the reduction process. Now the water molecule gains the electron. It liberates hydrogen with the formation of hydroxide ion. So redox reaction is over. At anode, oxidation takes place. So hydroxide ion loses 2 electrons. At cathode, water molecule gains 2 electrons. It liberates a hydrogen gas with the liberation of hydroxide ion. Now we are going to write overall reaction. How to write overall reaction? We have to cancel the similar components. Consider what are the similar components in left hand side as well as right hand side. In the left hand side, we have 2 hydroxide ions. In the right hand side also, we have 2 hydroxide ions. So will be cancelled, right? Left hand side we have hydroxide ion as well as right hand side also we have hydroxide ion. So both are cancelled. Left hand side we have 2 electrons. Right hand side, product side also we have 2 electrons, can be cancelled. Then left hand side water molecule, right hand side also water molecule, but only one difference. Left hand side we have 2 water molecules, right hand side we have only 1 water molecule. So now we can write overall reaction. So which will be the remaining one? Remaining left hand side we have only 1 water molecule. Product side we have a hydrogen as well as oxygen. So overall reaction can be written. So this is the way to produce hydrogen gas, right? So hydrogen can be prepared by electrolysis process. For that, we take an electrolytic cell. Water undergoes a redox reaction. It produces hydrogen gas. So this is electrolysis of water molecule. The same process can be repeated by considering a basic solution. So instead of taking a water, you may take a basic solutions or alkaline solutions, right? You can take sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide solutions, aqueous solutions, right? So sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, aqueous solutions can be acting as electrolytic solution. Do the same electrolysis process using nickel as anode, iron as cathode, you will get hydrogen gas. Now what is the drawback of this electrolysis process? Because of this electrolysis process, hydrogen cannot be prepared in a larger scale. So this is not an industrial preparation. This is not a manufacturing process. So hydrogen can be prepared in a smaller quantity. So this is not a suitable one in an economical way for larger production of hydrogen. So this is first method of preparing hydrogen using electrolysis process. Next, we move into the laboratory preparation. So in our lab, how to prepare hydrogen in a smaller quantity. For that, dilute acids will be added with metals. For example, take zinc. When zinc is added with dilute hydrochloric acid, it produces a salt zinc chloride with the liberation of hydrogen gas. In same way, you may take some other metals also like iron or tin. Always the metal will liberate hydrogen when it reacts with dilute acids. So this is second method of preparing hydrogen in the laboratory. Third one, manufacturing process, industrial preparation. So in large scale, how to prepare hydrogen. So this is prepared using organic substances like methane, right? So the process is called steam reforming process. So we are going to mix steam with hydrocarbons like methane. So when steam is passed over the methane at high temperatures around 800 to 900 degrees Celsius as well as 35 atmospheric pressures, methane and steam combines together, it produces a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So this is called water gas, right? So the mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen is called water gas, synthetic gas or syngas. So this is the way of preparing hydrogen, right? Next, instead of taking methane, the same process can be repeated. Instead of taking methane, we can take coke, right? Coke is nothing but a carbon. So carbon is present in different forms like animal charcoal or coke and so on. So we take a red hot coke. When steam is passed over a red hot coke at 1000 degrees Celsius, we get the mixture of same carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So this mixture is called what? Water gas or synthetic gas or syngas, because this is used for synthesizing many organic substances like methanol, right? So for preparing many organic substances, this synthetic gas is useful. So steam is passed over methane or coke to produce water gas. Then how to separate carbon monoxide from the hydrogen, because we are going to use hydrogen for a particular purpose. So from this water gas, we have to remove the carbon monoxide. How to remove the carbon monoxide from this mixture? For that, we are going to convert carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. So take the water gas, right? So with water gas, now we are going to pass steam again. So already we have obtained a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen with the synthetic gas or syngas or water gas. We are going to pass steam at 400 degrees Celsius over Swift converter, right? So this is going to shift carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. So the converter, that instrument or the vessel is called Swift converter, where we are using iron or copper as a catalyst, right? So when steam is passed over this water gas at 400 degrees Celsius in Swift converter, iron or copper is acting as a catalyst. So thereby we get a mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen. So now carbon monoxide in the water gas is shifted into carbon dioxide. So the reaction is called water gas shift reaction. So this is a 3 more question. Write a note on water gas shift reaction, right? Next, we have to remove the carbon dioxide. So how to remove the carbon dioxide? Again, you just pass the mixture in potassium carbonate solution. So if the mixture of hydrogen and carbon dioxide is passed into the aqueous potassium carbonate solution, all the carbon dioxide is absorbed in the solution. It becomes potassium bicarbonate. Remaining hydrogen can be used, right? So this is the third preparation method, right? So totally we have 3 preparation methods. First one, electrolysis of water or electrolysis of alkali solutions like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. Second one, laboratory preparation using metal as well as dilute acids. Third one, industrial preparation. So we get a water gas from the water gas, carbon monoxide can be removed. For that, we convert carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. Finally, carbon dioxide is also removed, so we can obtain hydrogen. So this is third method of preparing hydrogen. So with this preparation of hydrogen over, what is another isotope of hydrogen? Deuterium, right? With atomic number 1, mass number 2. Now we are going to prepare deuterium. We adapt the same electrolysis process. For preparing hydrogen, we do electrolysis of water. For preparing deuterium, we do electrolysis of heavy water. It means D2O. So this deuterium oxide is called heavy water. Instead of hydrogen, deuterium is there. So do the same electrolysis process. Heavy water becomes deuterium and oxygen. Okay. So now there is a difficulty in this process. What is it? Abundance of heavy water is very less. As we studied, almost 99.9% ordinary hydrogen will be there. Deuterium as well as tritium are having very low abundance. In the same way, when you take 100% water molecules, only 1.6 into 10 power minus 4 percentage of heavy water will be there, right? Out of 100%, only 1.6 into 10 power minus 4 percentage heavy water will be there, D2O. Remaining ordinary water molecules, H2O. So we are going to prepare deuterium from heavy water, so that we need a concentrated solution. Then only we can do dissociation process. So for that we do what? Electrolysis. When we do electrolysis, first ordinary water molecule will be dissociated to produce hydrogen and oxygen. We don't want ordinary hydrogen. So continuously we do electrolysis process, right? So when we take 100% water molecule, only 1.6 in 10 power minus 4 percentage heavy water is there. So until getting heavy water, we do electrolysis. During the electrolysis, first ordinary water undergoes dissociation to produce hydrogen and oxygen. So continuously we do electrolysis until getting heavy water. Finally, heavy water also dissociated to produce deuterium as well as oxygen. So this is the method of preparing deuterium. Next one, tritium. Comparing the deuterium, tritium has very low abundance, and this is called radioactive hydrogen. So this can be prepared by a nuclear reaction. So this is not an ordinary reaction. So in your higher studies, you will study what will be the difference between ordinary reaction as well as nuclear reaction. So we are going to do the nuclear reaction. So as we do in nuclear power plants. So in Tamil Nadu, we have 2 power stations, nuclear power stations. One is at Kalpakkam, another one is at Kudangulam. So we do controlled nuclear reactions within the reactor, so we get electrical energy. So the same reaction is done. So in nuclear fission reactor, we are going to bombard slow neutrons on lithium particle. When slow neutrons, so this is a symbol of neutron, a chargeless particle. So when neutrons are allowed to pass or bombard lithium, it produces tritium with the liberation of alpha particle. So this is helium. Helium is called an alpha particle. So in nuclear reaction, what will happen? When atomic weapon explodes, what happens? There is emission of different rays like alpha, beta, gamma and so on. So the same reaction. When slow neutrons are allowed to strike lithium within nuclear fission reactor, so this is a controlled reaction, we get tritium along with the liberation of alpha particle. Alpha particle is nothing but what? Helium particle, right? So this is the method of preparing tritium. So with this we have completed preparation of ordinary hydrogen, heavy hydrogen as well as radioactive hydrogen. Next we move into the properties of hydrogen, deuterium as well as tritium. First we discuss about physical properties. Hydrogen is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas. So it does not have any fragrance or smell, as well as it does not have any taste. So colorless, odorless, tasteless, the lightest gas and which is a highly inflammable in nature, like a petrol or a diesel or LPG. This is highly inflammable in nature. It catches fire easily, so that we consider hydrogen as a future fuel. So in the future, instead of using fossil fuels, we may use hydrogen as a fuel. So now there is a lot of research of using hydrogen as a fuel in the vehicles. So hydrogen based cars are in the research of production, right? So hydrogen will be the future fuel. This is highly inflammable in nature. Next, as I said, a single hydrogen cannot exist, so always it exists as a molecule. So hydrogen always exists as diatomic molecule. Two similar hydrogen atoms are combining together to produce a hydrogen molecule. Now this hydrogen molecule is non-polar in nature. Pole means a charge. Pole, pole means a charge. If any substance contains charge, it is called polar in nature. For example, water. Water contains charges. But this hydrogen is non-polar because covalent bond is present between two hydrogen atoms. So this is completely non-polar in nature. Then, since it is a gas, can be converted into liquid by reducing the temperature as well as applying the high pressure. Then important one more question. Hydrogen is a very good reducing agent. So yesterday I said, if any substance undergoes oxidation, this will induce a reduction on another substance. So we call it as reducing agent. So hydrogen is a very good reducing agent. Next, chemical properties of hydrogen. First, reaction of hydrogen with the oxygen. So this is an explosive reaction. This is not everyone. Simply we are getting water, right? Water is present everywhere. So the production of water in the laboratory is not an easy process. It is a highly explosive nature, preparation of water, right? So when hydrogen combines with oxygen, it produces water. The reaction is an explosive reaction. It produces more amount of heat energy. So the reaction is done within a cell. So this is called a fuel cell, right? In your 12th standard you will study fuel cells. Means we are going to use fuel in the cells which will be acting as fuel. The hydrogen will act as a fuel, right? So when hydrogen and oxygen are combining within the cell, it produces water with more amount of heat energy. Now heat energy can be converted into electrical energy. So this is called a fuel cell, right? Like battery, we have fuel cell to produce electricity, right? Next reaction, hydrogen combines with the halogen, it forms hydrogen halides. For example, HF, HCl, HBr, HI. So all type of hydrogen halides can be prepared by this method. When hydrogen combines with any one halogen like fluorine or chlorine or bromine or iodine molecule, it produces hydrogen halide, right? Okay. So consider each halogen. When hydrogen combines with fluorine, the reaction will take place only in the absence of sunlight. At dark condition only the reaction will take place, and this is also an explosive reaction, right? Next, chlorine. So chlorine combines with the hydrogen in the presence of sunlight at room temperature. But what about bromine? All these are one more questions. When bromine combines with the hydrogen, it produces a hydrogen bromide. The reaction will take place only on heating. So if you are not heating, hydrogen bromide will not be formed. But mixing iodine with the hydrogen, product hydrogen iodide will be obtained by what mechanism? Photochemical mechanism. So in the presence of sunlight, hydrogen combines with iodine, it produces hydrogen iodide. The mechanism is somewhat different. So photochemical mechanism. So in all these hydrogen halides, that means HCl, HBr, HF, HI, in all these hydrogen halides, what is the oxidation state of hydrogen? +1. Hydrogen loses an electron, the electron is gained by the halogen. So this is an ionic bond. Right? So oxidation state of hydrogen is +1. Third reaction. Hydrogen combines with metal, it forms metal hydrides. Right? Take a hydrogen, it combines with metals like lithium as well as sodium, it produces metal hydrides, lithium hydride and sodium hydride. These are very good reducing agents. Metal hydrides are always very good reducing agents. Now observe the oxidation state here. Lithium plus, hydrogen minus, sodium plus, hydrogen minus. So oxidation state of hydrogen in hydride is what? Minus 1. Hydrogen gains an electron from lithium or sodium. Now this metal hydride is useful for preparing some other reducing agents. Lithium hydride, sodium hydride are very good reducing agents. These metal hydrides are useful to produce some other reducing agents like lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. So these reducing agents can be prepared by mixing aluminum chloride with the lithium hydride. It produces lithium aluminum chloride. Trimethyl borate combines with sodium hydride. It produces sodium borohydride with the liberation of sodium methoxide. Right. So metal hydrides are reducing agents. They are useful to produce some other reducing agents like sodium borohydride as well as lithium aluminum hydride. Then fourth chemical property of hydrogen. Hydrogen is useful for hydrogenation reaction or addition reactions. So when we take unsaturated compounds, what is unsaturated compound? The organic compound contains a double bond or a triple bond. It's called unsaturated compound. So when we take unsaturated compounds like this is called ethine or acetylene. So hydrogen is added with this acetylene. It undergoes addition reaction. So the triple bond will be broken. We get this ethylene. With ethylene, again when we add hydrogen, you get ethane. So this is called a hydrogenation or addition reaction. So finally we get a saturated compound. Unsaturated compound becomes saturated by the addition of hydrogen in the presence of what catalyst? Finely divided nickel as a catalyst. Right? Finely divided powdered form of nickel as a catalyst. So hydrogen is a very good reducing agent. So with this, properties of hydrogen is over. Next, properties of deuterium. Like ordinary hydrogen, deuterium also reacts with oxygen and halogen. Right? Deuterium combines with oxygen as well as halogen. It produces oxides as well as halides. So same type of reactions are possible in deuterium also. Next, this is a 3-mark question. Write a note on deuterium exchange reactions. Right? With the deuterium, when you add some other molecules like this, methane or ammonia, there will be exchange of atoms. Consider first reaction. CH4 methane combines with 2 molecule of deuterium molecule. It produces CD4 and 2 molecule of hydrogen, which represents what? In methane molecule, in CH4, the 4 hydrogen atoms are replaced by deuterium. So CH4 becomes what? CD4. So this is called the exchange reaction. The hydrogen atoms present in a molecule can be replaced by deuterium partially or completely. So this is called the exchange reaction. In second reaction, take ammonia. In ammonia, all the 3 hydrogen atoms will be replaced by deuterium. So you will get ND3 with the liberation of 3 molecule of hydrogen. So this is called exchange reactions. Next, properties of tritium. As we know, tritium is a radioactive hydrogen. So this will involve in radioactive disintegration. Radioactive disintegration means it involves in nuclear reaction. So tritium will be broken to produce a new element with the liberation of alpha, beta or gamma rays. Right? So consider tritium, which undergoes radioactive disintegration. Thereby it produces helium with a mass number with the ejection of beta particle. So this E, mass number 0, and the charge plus 1. So this represents beta particle. So tritium, due to radioactive disintegration, it produces beta particle. Next important one mark, what is a half-life period of tritium? It is 12.3 years. We have to know what is a half-life period. Consider one substance. You are taking 1 kilogram of a substance, so which undergoes radioactive disintegration. That means the mass is continuously decreasing, so it will become another element with the liberation of alpha, beta, gamma rays. So during radioactive disintegration, what happens? Mass is converted into energy. You will study in physics, right? So E is equal to mc square formula. You will study in physics. So during radioactive disintegration, mass will be converted into energy, so that atomic weapons produces more amount of energy by losing the mass. So when we take 1 kilogram of a substance, which will be converted into 500 gram, for this conversion, how much time is required? This is called a half-life period. If a substance is reduced into one half of its initial value, the time required is called half-life period. Okay? From 1 kilogram into 500 gram, for this conversion, for this reduction in mass, how much time required? This is called half-life period. So when we take 1 kilogram of tritium, it becomes 500 gram by liberating beta particle in how much time? 12.3 years, right? So with this, properties of hydrogen, deuterium and tritium over. Next we move into uses of hydrogen. First one, hydrogen is used for preparing many other substances. Almost 90% of hydrogen produced in the industry is used for other substances. An example is Haber's process, right? So this is called the Haber's process. Now hydrogen is used for preparing ammonia. Nitrogen combines with hydrogen, it produces ammonia in the presence of iron as a catalyst at 380 to 450 degrees Celsius and 200 atmospheric pressure. The reaction is called Haber's process. So now hydrogen is used to prepare ammonia, because ammonia is very important compound. Ammonia is used to prepare many other substances like nitric acid or fertilizers or explosives and so on. So for preparing ammonia, we use a hydrogen gas. So this is first use. Second use, for preparing industrial solvent. This is one more question. What is industrial solvent? So methanol is called industrial solvent. So when hydrogen gas is passed with the carbon monoxide in the presence of copper as a catalyst, we get methanol. Methanol is an industrial solvent. Third one, to prepare vanaspati. So we use vanaspati in our cooking process, right? So this vanaspati is prepared by passing hydrogen in unsaturated fatty oils. So hydrogenation will be there, the addition process will be there. So this unsaturated fatty acids will become saturated fats called vanaspati, right? So the reaction is taking place in the presence of platinum. So for the preparation of vanaspati, we use hydrogen. Next, in metallurgical process, right? In 12th standard we will study in metallurgical process, to get metal, we use a hydrogen as a reducing agent, because the reducing agent hydrogen reduces metal oxide into metal. Okay. So consider hydrogen. The hydrogen is a reducing agent which reduces copper 2 oxide into copper with the liberation of water. As well as hydrogen reduces tungsten trioxide into tungsten with the liberation of water. So these metal oxides are reduced into metal. So for this we use hydrogen as a reducing agent. Number 5, we use atomic or oxyhydrogens in torches, which are used for cutting as well as welding purpose. Then liquid hydrogen. One more question. The liquid hydrogen is used as a fuel in rockets, right? Then number 7, as I said, we have a fuel cells. Within the fuel cell, we take fuel hydrogen. Hydrogen combines with the oxygen, it produces water with more amount of heat energy. The heat energy will be converted into electrical energy. So hydrogen will be the future fuel, right? So continuously when we apply or when we give hydrogen within the fuel cell, we get more amount of energy. So this is becoming a rechargeable battery. The fuel cell will behave as a rechargeable metal hydride battery when we continuously supply hydrogen within the fuel cell. So with this uses of hydrogen over. So we revise one more time. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about preparation of hydrogen, deuterium, tritium, properties of hydrogen, deuterium, tritium, and the uses of hydrogen. First, hydrogen can be prepared by electrolysis process. When electricity is passed within the cell where we have taken water as an electrolytic solution along with a small quantity of acid or base, water will undergo a dissociation process. There will be redox reaction, right? At anode there will be oxidation, at cathode there will be reduction. So overall this is a redox reaction. So due to the dissociation of water by electrolysis, water is dissociated to produce hydrogen and oxygen. The same electrolysis can be done within the cell where instead of water we may take aqueous sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. So this alkali solution can be used. Second method, laboratory preparation. So when dilute acids are mixed with metals like zinc or copper or tin, lead, whatever it may be, it produces salt and hydrogen gas. Third, industrial preparation. So this is a large scale preparation. We have to pass steam over methane at 800 to 900 degrees Celsius at 35 atmospheric pressure. We get a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So this is called water gas or syngas or synthetic gas. This water gas can also be prepared by another method. By passing steam over a red hot coke at 1000 degrees Celsius, we get this water gas. So this water gas should be separated. So we need only hydrogen, so we don't want any carbon monoxide. For that, to remove carbon monoxide first, which is converted into carbon dioxide. So when steam is passed with water gas at 400 degrees Celsius in shift converter where copper or iron acting as a catalyst, carbon monoxide is converted into carbon dioxide. So this is called a water gas shift reaction, and the produced carbon dioxide with the hydrogen is passed over aqueous solution of potassium carbonate. All the carbon dioxide is absorbed by potassium carbonate, it becomes potassium bicarbonate. Hydrogen can be liberated. Then deuterium can be prepared by electrolysis process. Instead of ordinary water, we do electrolysis of heavy water. So when we take 100% water, normal H2O will be in larger quantity. The abundance of heavy water is very less, around 1.6 and 10 power minus 4 percentage. So when we do electrolysis, first ordinary water will be dissociated to produce hydrogen and oxygen. Until getting heavy water, we do electrolysis. Again, heavy water will also be separated into deuterium as well as oxygen. Next, tritium can be prepared as a nuclear reaction. So when we do this nuclear reaction within nuclear fission reactor, by passing slow neutrons on lithium, it produces a tritium with the liberation of alpha particle. Hydrogen is a colorless, odorless, tasteless, lightest and highly inflammable gas. This is a non-polar diatomic molecule. By increasing the pressure as well as reducing the temperature, you can convert it into liquids, and it is a very good reducing agent. First chemical property of hydrogen: when oxygen combines with the hydrogen, it produces water. So this is an explosive reaction. So we do this reaction within the fuel cells to produce electrical energy. Next, hydrogen combines with the halogens, it produces hydrogen halide. Fluorine combines with the hydrogen in the absence of sunlight. Chlorine combines with the hydrogen in the presence of sunlight. Bromine combines with the hydrogen when we heat. Iodine combines with the hydrogen to produce a hydrogen iodide by photochemical reaction. In all these four compounds, hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen chloride, hydrogen bromide, hydrogen iodide, oxidation state of hydrogen is +1. When hydrogen combines with metals, it produces metal hydrides like lithium hydride and sodium hydride. They are reducing agents where oxidation state of hydrogen is -1. These metal hydrides are used to prepare some other reducing agents like lithium aluminum hydride as well as sodium borohydride. When unsaturated compounds are added with hydrogen in the presence of finely divided nickel, there will be addition reactions. All the triple bond and a double bond will be broken. Finally, we get saturated compound. Next, chemical properties of deuterium. Like ordinary hydrogen, deuterium also combines with oxygen, it forms deuterium oxide. That means a heavy water, D2O. Deuterium combines with the halogen, it forms deuterium halides. Exchange reactions. When the molecules containing hydrogen is added with deuterium, hydrogen will be replaced by deuterium partially or completely. So due to this mutual exchange, we get different products. Next, tritium will undergo radioactive disintegration, thereby it produces beta particle. Its half-life period is 12.3 years. Uses of hydrogen. Hydrogen is used for preparing many other substances like ammonia by Haber's process. So this ammonia is used for preparing nitric acid, explosives and fertilizers. Then hydrogen is used to prepare industrial solvent methanol. So it combines with carbon monoxide in the presence of copper to prepare industrial solvent. Then unsaturated fatty oils are added with hydrogen. We get saturated fats called vanaspati. The reaction is taking place in the presence of platinum catalyst. Then for the reduction of metal oxide into metal in metallurgical process, we use hydrogen as a reducing agent. Then atomic hydrogen, oxyhydrogens can be used in torches for welding as well as cutting purposes. Liquid hydrogen is used as a rocket fuel. Then hydrogen is the future fuel, so which can be used in the fuel cells to prepare or to produce more amount of energy. So this will become a rechargeable battery when we supply hydrogen continuously. So with this, today's lesson over. So complete your homework. So write a weekly test well today. Okay, thank you.